Let's get it. Y'all know what time it is, man. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to the Fourth Quarter Podcast with your host, Big SK. Now, I know, look, for all my loyal viewers, man, my loyal fans of the show, I know I haven't been posting for the show for a minute. And, I got a life too, man, so I have some stuff going on in my personal life, but we back. Nevertheless, we are back, and we are officially going into week 7 of the NFL season. A lot has happened. As y'all can see, there's big Dallas Nation over here, if you guys didn't know. For all my new viewers and, people who new to the channel, new to the show. Big Dallas Nation, man. Don't get that shit twisted. But like I said, man, we are now into week 6 of the NFL season. Well, going into week 7 of the NFL season. And today's show, we're going to be going over my top 10 teams, man. These are my top 10 teams. Not your mama top 10 teams. Not ESPN top 10 teams. Not Stephen A. top 10. This is my top 10 teams. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Now I'm just going by what I've seen so far, man. I can't go by what I'm projecting the team's gonna do or what the team did last year. I'm only strictly going off of the 6 games that everybody's have played this year. Alright. So coming in at number 10, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, Cincinnati Bengals is the top 10 team for me. They're 3-3 currently. They started off rocky, man. They started off real bad. Started off 1-3. Their quarterback has some injury issues that I'm pretty sure he's still dealing with, but I'm pretty sure he's getting more healthy as time go on. But like I said, they started off 1-3. They won 2 straight. And they just won last week. Who they play? They just beat Seattle. And it was not a clean game. It was one of those ugly wins for sure. Joe Burrow went 24-35, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Which is cool. That's not really Joe Burrow numbers. He's usually above 200. Usually no picks. Joe Mixon had 12 carries, 38 yards. They got to get him involved in the offense a little bit more. Stop putting the pressure on Joe Burrow, having him throw the ball so much he can get injured. Jamar Chase had 6 receptions, 80 yards. Got to try to feed him some more too. Now they won that game and they was outgained by Seattle on everything almost. Seattle outgained them on total yards, 381 to 214. Seattle outgained them on passing yards, 294, 168. Rushing yards, 87 to 46, and yards per play, 5.4 to 4.0. Now, I just let you know that Joe Burrow was not moving the ball well, but they were scoring points when they needed to score points. And at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for when you're trying to win games, because winning in this league is not easy. So a win is a win. I see them starting to getting the ball rolling. They're going to be a tough team to play once they get their shit together. They always start slow every year. Anyways, at number 9, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Another team that started off rocky. Started off 1-2. Then they won 3 straight. They coming off a victory last week, beating the Indianapolis Colts, who have a backup quarterback starting for them. Not even their rookie starting, he's out, so they had a backup quarterback in, and they won 37-20. And then Jacksonville Jaguars are 4-2 currently. They're another team who started off slow, started the season off, a little rocky, but now they're starting to get their feet under them. Had a few games in London. It's hard to beat Jacksonville out there in London. It's like their second home. They always playing out there. Trevor Lawrence went 20 for 30, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. That's about what he does, about around his numbers. He's usually around like 245 yards passing yards, though, but that's around his numbers. Travis Etienne went 18 for 55 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Not a lot of rushing yards, but once you get in touchdowns, that makes up for it a lot. Christian Kirk had 3 receptions, 49 yards, and 1 touchdown. Like I said, when you're not getting a lot of yards, it makes up for it when you get in the end zone, because points matter. Their defense forced 3 sacks and 3 picks. So I got Jacksonville sitting at number 9. At number 8, the Baltimore Ravens. Now, a lot of people had high expectations for the Ravens coming into the season with all the acquisitions they had in the offseason with, Zay Flowers getting drafted and them getting Odell Beckham and they trying to shore up that defense. They had a bounce back win after losing to the Steelers previous week in week 5. They just beat the Titans 24-16. Good win. Good team win. Lamar Jackson went 21 for 30, 223 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Got to be careful with the turnovers, but you'll take those numbers any day with Lamar. But he also led the team in rushing with 13 carries, 62 yards. Now, you need to get your running backs involved, man. I don't like when quarterbacks lead the team in rushing. That's never going to be a good thing. Mark Andrews went 4 receptions, 469 yards. He's still their go-to weapon, even though they got all those guys on the outside. He still trusts Mark Andrews the most. Their defense held Ryan Tannehill to 76 yards passing, 8 for 16. That's 50%. That's horrible, Ryan Tannehill. And 1 pick, 2 turnovers. So I got the Baltimore Ravens sitting at number 8. At number 7, I got the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are currently 4-2. 4-2. They coming off an ugly win though, man. They coming off an ugly win after losing the previous week to Jacksonville in London. Now they bounced back with a win, but it was an ugly win against the Giants, 14-9. The Giants playing with their second string quarterback, and they gave them guys all they can go for. They gave them all they can go for. Josh Allen went 19 for 30, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. It's cool numbers. James Cook, 14 carries, 71 yards. Stephon Diggs, 10 receptions, 100 yards, no touchdowns. I don't know. The Bills are a good team, but I feel like they haven't got everything put together yet, man. So that's why I got them at 7. I believe they got some shit to improve on, but I believe they're a top 7 team in the NFL right now. Now, number 6, the Dallas Cowboys. Now I know y'all probably thinking like, damn, you're a Cowboys fan. I'm surprised they ain't number 1. Now I'm not stupid. You feel me? I might be a little biased because I love my squad, but I ain't stupid. We right now we sitting about number 6 team in the 6th best team in the NFL right now. Be coming off a huge ass kicking that the 49ers delivered us week 5. They beat us 42-10. We had to respond going out there LA, and that's what we did. We beat the Chargers 20-17. It wasn't a high scoring game, but we did exactly what we needed to do. Controlled the clock, controlled the ball. Dak went 21-30, 272 yards, 1 touchdown, no pick. I can take those numbers every day from Dak. My concern is the running back position though. Dak led our running backs, I guess you can say, or he led the team in rushing with 7 carries, 40 yards, 1 touchdown. I'm not jacking that. I don't like when my quarterback is leading the team in rushing. Especially when you pay young boy all that bread. You pay Pollard all that bread and you let Zeke go. Some guy give. We can't be having our quarterback lead the team in rushing. Although I am happy Dak was using his legs, because it's going to be hard for teams to contain us once he start using his legs and getting out of the pocket, making plays, or using his legs to get downfield, getting some yards. CeeDee Lamb went 7 receptions, 117 yards. He balled out. I would have loved for him to get in the end zone, but I'll take those numbers any day. He's definitely a bona fide number 1 wide receiver. Richard Sherman, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Michael closed the game, of course. He was quiet throughout the game, but he closed the game with a sack, a huge play. And then right after that, we got an interception from Stephon Gilmore. Defense did their job. I like what I seen from our defense. That's how you bounce back. We held Justin Herbert 22 of 37, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. For a quarterback that they saying is a top 5, I'll take those numbers any day. Like, that's what you call containing a great quarterback. That they say he's a great quarterback. I'm not too sure about that yet. Austin Eckler, touchdown machine. Held that boy to 14 carries, 27 yards rushing. That's beautiful, because a lot of teams think they're going to just come and run against us. And I'm happy to see that we answered that and we stopped that. What I'm not happy about is we had 11 penalties. That's just being undisciplined, and you were not winning the playoffs with those amount of penalties, man. That should start with coaching, so we got to fix that ASAP. And that's another reason why I have us sitting at 6. Sitting at 5, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles are sitting at 5. Now we all know the Eagles the ops, so when they took their first L this past weekend, I was extremely happy. Yes, I was. I would be the first to tell you I was extremely happy. The whole Cowboy Nation, yes, we was happy. We don't fuck with y'all. Y'all know that. But they took their first loss of the season after starting the season 5-0. Losing to the Jets of all teams, 20-14. But this is the NFL. Things happen. Hurts went 28-45, 280 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Career high, 3 interceptions. I believe he leads the league in with interceptions this season, with I believe like 9 or 8. Anyway, I know it's 2 times 2 of what Dak has, but you know they're not gonna criticize him like because I guess he's not playing for America's team, so you know can't trip on that. Jalen Hurts also led the team in rushing with 8 carries, 47 yards, 1 touchdown. You don't want your quarterback leading the team in rushing, man. For a game, for a season, you just don't want that. Because you're putting them in harm's way. And once it only takes 1 injury for your whole season to be a wrap finito. A.J. Brown, 7 receptions, 131 yards. No touchdowns. When you get that many yards, you got to get the touchdowns. See, them other receivers having less yards, but they had the touchdowns. You know, what would you rather have? You rather have the yards with no TDs or less yards in the TDs? I take no less yards in TDs. The Eagles got a tough schedule coming up, man. They next 7 games, they got the Dolphins, Commanders, Dallas, Chiefs, Bills, Niners, Dallas. They can lose all those games. So, it's going to be tough for them, but I still believe that they're a tough team. So, that's the only reason I have them at 5, because they have a tremendous defense still. And I still think Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, and they have tremendous weapons on the offense side of the ball. So, they will be fine as long as they take care of business, which I hope they don't. Now, at number 4, we got the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending champs. The defending champs haven't been looking like themselves lately. Yeah, they've been winning. They lost their first game to the Lions, which I predicted, but they didn't have 2 of their superstars on offense side of the ball and defense side of the ball. Yeah. They lost. But they won 5 straight. But they haven't been looking like themselves. They haven't been blowing teams out. They've been winning by 5 points here, 7 points here, 9 points here, 8 points here. They just had an ugly win against Denver, which is a divisional opponent, so you can't really judge that game the same because these guys are familiar with each other. But it's still the Denver Broncos who are a 1-5 team, and they have Russell Wilson, that quarterback, who is poop. So there's really no excuse to be struggling with a team like that, and they have the worst defense also. But that's what it is for the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes went 30 for 40, 306 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Pacheco had 16 carries, 62 yards, no touchdowns, and Travis Kelce had 9 receptions, 124 yards, no touchdowns, and 1,000 picks of him and Taylor Swift. Listen, NFL, y'all gotta stop showing this lady. We don't care about her, and she obviously don't know shit about football. So y'all need to do something about that, because the diehard fans is tired of this publicity shit y'all got going on, man. For the ratings and money, we don't care about that. Stop showing shorty, for real. We don't care. But I got the Kansas City Chiefs at 4. They're top 14 because they got Patrick Mahomes, and that's kind of about it, man. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and their coach. Other than that, they not looking the same. So I can't have them at number 1. At number 3, pains me to say, but it's the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco. I hate saying that stupid ass word. San Francisco 49ers, man. Another team that started off hot, 5-0, took their first loss. And again, I was extremely happy. Extremely happy. We don't fuck with them. They the ops too. But gotta give props, gotta give credit when credit is due. And this is a very good football team. This is Brock Purdy's very first loss in the NFL. If any game that he played from the beginning to the end, this is his very first loss. And they lost to one of the best defenses in the NFL. So far, a historic defense. And allowing points and touchdowns. They lost to the Browns 17-19. Brock Purdy had one of his worst games of his NFL career. He went 12 of 27, 125 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. McCaffrey went 11 carries, 43 yards, but he did leave the game in the second half with I want to say some oblique injury. Debo also left the game in the first half with a shoulder injury, so he didn't have his full arsenal of weapons. But that's kind of what a lot of people have been saying about Purdy is he's not that guy when he doesn't have all his, all his weapons around. What would he look like if he didn't have that plethora of weapons? And he looked pretty average. They was getting to him. The Browns defensive line was definitely putting pressure on him. And getting back there, they had 3 sacks on him. The Browns controlled that whole game. They had more total yards in them, 334 to 215. They had more passing yards, 174 to 107. More rushing yards, 160 to 108. And they just dominated the whole game. Now, Purdy did, take them down the field for a game-winning field goal, but the kicker missed. And if the kicker missed, you lose. So we can't talk about coulda, shoulda, woulda. You lost. You're 5-1, and you're on fourth quarter podcast top 3 teams, man. So be cool with that. Be great with that, man. Y'all top 3 team. I don't like y'all, but y'all are for real. All right. At number 2, we got the Detroit Lions. Now listen, this is crazy, man. Because if you've been watching football for the last 20 years, man, you know that the Detroit Lions have been horrendous, like just very bad. One of them teams where like, oh man, they got them playing. I'm not about to watch football today, or at that time. But the times have changed, man. The Detroit Lions are for real. In week 1, I was probably the only one that I seen that projected them to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and they did that. Now they're 5-1. They started off very smooth with that win against the defending champs. The only loss came to Seattle by 6 points, 37-31. If they ain't lose that game, if they would got that game, they would have been the only undefeated team as of now. But they're not. They just beat the Bucks 20-6. Wasn't a pretty game, but they got the job done, and a win is a win. Jared Goff went 30 for 44, 353 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. They didn't have no running game that game. I don't know what was going on with the running backs that game. I didn't really see too many stats with the running backs. But Amon St. Brown had 12 receptions, 124 yards, 1 touchdown. Now I will say this: Amon St. Brown is definitely emerging to be a top 15 receiver in the NFL, man. Remember I said that. That kid can definitely ball. But I like the Lions, man. They only have 5 penalties, which is show me that they're disciplined. They listen to their fucking coach, and they're a tough team. And I like Jared Goff, man. If y'all was following me, in the early episodes and early podcasts, I had Jared Goff on the MVP watch. So y'all stay tuned for that, man. Because as long as he keep playing well, this team is going to be very hard to deal with. And now at number 1, another team that hasn't been good in the last 20 years, the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins. They're 5-1. But their only loss coming to the Bills, I believe in week 4, I believe it was. Started off a pretty good game, then the Bills just took off. But that's a divisional opponent, so you really can't judge that game the same either. But the Miami Dolphins are for real, man. They're for real, and they fast as shit. Like, they fast as shit. The NFL's always record the top, miles per hour for the players running, at their fastest, at their peaks. And the top 5 players that had the top 5 speed ratings were all on the Miami Dolphins. Like, they just have a track meet roster, man. They put up the most points through the first 6 games, 223 points. They just out there just running by people. They 3-0 at home. The only loss came to the Bills on the road. And this past weekend they beat the Panthers 42-21. As long as Tua can stand upright and stay healthy, man, it's going to be very difficult to beat this team because they're good, at every position. Now, I know a lot of teams can say that, but when you look at the numbers and the numbers back up what you're saying, it's a different story, man. Tua, 21 of 31, 262 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. That's about the beautifulest game you can ask for a starting NFL quarterback. But it gets better. Raheem Mostert in the backfield. 17 carries, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now that's when that's what you call getting the job done in the offense side of the ball. When you got your quarterback clicking, you got your running back clicking. Let's see if his wide receiver was clicking. Tyreek Hill, 6 receptions, 163 yards, 1 touchdown. Now that's only 3 players. There's a lot of other players who got busy in the offense, but that just goes to show you how dominant they are when all 3 positions. It's just beautiful stats, man. There's no other team that I went through in this top 10 that had all 3 beautiful stats at the quarterback position, running back position, and wide receiver position. And they allowed 0 sacks, so that means that their line was also phenomenal. That's just very hard to see, man, in today's game, man. Another stupid stat. Tyreek Hill has 42 receptions, 814 yards, 6 touchdowns on the season already. Definitely on pace to get 2K. He's on pace to get more than 2K, actually. And their defense is stellar also. Defense held the Panthers to go 0-4 on 4th down. Now, that just lets you know that the Panthers was trying to be aggressive, and trying to get points and saying, fuck field goals, fuck punting. We going for it on 4th down. They went for it on 4th down 4 times, and they got denied all 4 times. That's pretty tough, man. That's pretty tough for a defense to do, because the average defense is only going out there for 3 plays and they off the field if they stop those teams for 3 plays. They had to stop that team for 4 plays 4 times. So that just lets you know how tough their defense is, and they should be getting Jalen Ramsey back soon. Probably later in the season, but that's still gonna be a nice addition for their defense. So there you have it, man. My top 10 teams for the through week 6 so far. Well, through the first 6 games. At number 1 we got the Miami Dolphins. Number 2 we got the Detroit Lions. Number 3 we got the 49ers. Number 4 we got the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 5 we got the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 6 we got Dallas Cowboys. 7 is the Buffalo Bills. 8 is the Baltimore Ravens. 9 Jacksonville Jaguars. 10 Cincinnati Bengals. And those are your top 10 teams so far, according to the Fourth Quarter Podcast. Now, if you don't like what you heard or what you just witnessed on this podcast, you don't like where your team is at, or you don't like that your team isn't in the top 10 at all, now that's an opportunity for you to come and join the show. Every Sunday and Monday at 8 p.m., I am doing my live show. You are more than welcome to come on, join and debate with me and tell me why your team should be in the top 10 and why another team should be out the top 10. But you got to come with facts. If you ain't coming with facts, you ain't joining the show, baby. And it's straight like that, man. But thank you guys for tuning into the Fourth Quarter Podcast with your host, Big SK.